GURPS powers for 4th edition. The themes for this book are advice on powers and managing those powers through reasonable limits and deconstructing the makeup of a power. These little sections are really great. They go over what is a power. They really go well into what you need to know about what makes a power up, and they just do such a great job in that regard. This reminds me of superheroes, really. But the thing is if you want to have, just look at a bunch of anime. There are people that are not necessarily superheroes with superpowers. And it even goes over that in the last chapter of the book, chapter 6. My biggest complaint, though, is that it is GURPS, and you will spend a lot of time balancing out your character for the point system. And that's frustrating. But at least you have, my highest praise is that there are references to the core rulebook's page numbers, and see, page B33, that means basic rulebook. That is awesome. And also these little sections right here, once again, like the learning powers, and then, player design powers. Those sections are awesome. They really go into what it is. The art is very high quality. The key points are anatomy of a power on pages 7 and 8, focus versus source on 7, attacks 9 to 11, defenses on 11 to 12, movement abilities on 12 to 14, mental abilities on 14 to 17, physical transformations on 17 to 19, countermeasures on 20 and 21, required disadvantages on 21 and 23, to 23, page 21 to page 23. Channeled energies, page 24. Other factors, page 25. Finalizing the modifier, page 26 and 25. Sample modifiers, page 26 to 29. Pricing talents on 29. Powers with similar sources on page 30. Power versus power on 30 to 32. Powers, great and small, on 32 and 33. Starting out with powers on 33 to 34. Learning powers on page 35. Awakenings on page 36. Optional rules for afflictions on 40. Projection on 44. Partially limited abilities on 46. Independent body parts on 52. Guns as innate attacks on 54. In case you're a robot or Iron Man, for instance. Heavy lifting on page 58. Modular abilities in play 62. Optional rule small size in combat 76. Awe and confusion check table on 85. Godlike control page 92. Neutralizing and static versus non-powers page 97. Optional rule multiplicative modifiers on page 102. Gadget limitations and powers on page 107. Beam, breath, and bolt on page 113. Writing it up on page 115. Benchmarking attacks and defenses on page 117. Attacks, energy reserves. Energy reserves on page 119. Sample powers on 121 through 136. Sample abilities on 136 to 151. Elemental attack table on 141. Active versus passive abilities on 153. Crippled abilities on 156. Abilities and exertion on 159. Skills for everyone 162. Collateral damage 165. Talents as resistance 169. Creative uses of special effects 170. Source specific rules 174 to 178. Origins 179 to 182. Adventures on 192 to 199. And chapter 6 empowered genres on 203 to 234. The pros is that it's very well laid out and very thorough. Each chapter is color divided and has this little list down here. Page number. Of course, you have references to this book and then the basic rules. Very, very well done. The cons, though, is that there are so many things to consider, and it's not immediately useful. You have to, I mean, if you want to use the sample powers, you can. But the thing is you want to be able to build your own stuff. That's why you got a powers book, right? I would recommend this just for considerations. This is for the people that want tangible powers from scratch. Even if you're not going to use the combat rules, use the rules in here to think about how your power functions. Everything about your power needs to function. Even if you don't use the math or anything else, it's very, very fitting. So this is recommended, and Kyber out.